joined us here this afternoon to remember and to commemorate the memory of Kieran Doherty, our TD elected in 1981, and all those who have given their lives on hunger strike and those who have served the cause of Irish freedom, justice and peace throughout all the years, many sacrificing their very lives. 36 years ago next Wednesday, Kieran passed away on the 2nd of August 1981. I remember that day very well. It's absolutely etched in my memory, as it is for the greater number of us gathered here. But then there are others, even more importantly, who are with us here today who weren't even born all those years ago. And the story has to be told. The story has to be repeated time after time in order that a new generation of proud young Republicans will know and appreciate the sacrifice made by Kieran and his comrades, the 10 who died in Long Kesh in 1981. The Roll of Honour that we have had read by Kevin just earlier, it has many resonances for us as we stand here today on the 30th of July. Among the number of the 22 who died was a Cavan Republican who gave his life on hunger strike and perhaps not sufficiently recognised in his home county as he should. Indeed, I warrant there are some perhaps who didn't realise that Andy O'Sullivan was Cavan born and reared. He died and is on the Roll of Honour, of course, of his native county, but also of Cork, where he worked. And I think it is very important that that connection with the 22 and with this proud county of Cavan is highlighted here today and known of and spoken of. On the 13th of August next, we are all invited to join the Republicans of the west of our country in celebrating the memory of the 22 who died in a hunger strike, when for the very first time the west of Ireland will host the National Hunger Strike Commemoration in Ballyconnell. Mayo too has a very proud connection with that list, the Hunger Strike Roll of Honour. 3 of the 22 who died were native sons of County Mayo: Sean McNeela, Michael Gohan and Frank Stagg. And it would be only right and fitting in mentioning Sean McNeela to also reference Tony Darcy from the neighbouring county of Galway, 2 men of the West who gave their lives on hunger strike all those many years ago. I would hope that as many of us who can and who encourage as many more to join us to descend on the town of Ballyconnell on Sunday the 13th of August, 2 weeks from this very day, in order to ensure that the hunger strike commemoration of 2017 is indeed one, if not the best so far. The people of Ballyconnell and those of its immediate hinterland are proudly waiting to welcome us. In a little cemetery outside that town, League Cemetery, Michael Gohan and Frank Stagg lie side by side. Thankfully, due to the efforts of local Republicans who defied this state and how it disgracefully treated the remains of Frank Stagg, buried him in concrete and without the honours of his comrades. That was corrected by solid and stout Republicans who gave the final salute and reinterred Frank Stagg's remains beside his comrade Michael Gohan some time afterwards. The hunger strike message through all the years, and today we should remember too that the first name on the list, Thomas Ashe, the first to die, we will remember Thomas Ashe in September of this year, the centenary of his passing, 100 years ago this September. And I think it is very, very important that whatever commemorative event is organised around that particular date, that we should also diarise it and ensure, if we can, to be a part of that event. Thomas Ashe died after only 5 days on hunger strike. Such was the brutality of the British regime in their efforts to force feed him over those short number of days. They killed him, they murdered him, and that was how Thomas Ashe died. It's very important that we gather here again today in Ballyconnell, here in County Cavan, to remember Kieran, and we're very, very proud to have among our number here today 3 of Kieran's siblings. We have Terence, who participated in the cycle. We have Michael, who has travelled and joined us here today, and Rushing, who is here with us. Geraldine, Michael's wife, and another 1 or possibly 2 generations following have also travelled from Belfast to be a part of this event. And I want, on behalf of all of you gathered here today, to send solidarity greetings from this gathering here in Ballyconnell to Kieran's mother, to Margaret, who celebrated her 90th birthday earlier this year. We send our very best wishes, and Terence, Michael and Rushing, we hope that you will communicate those very warm wishes to Margaret and to the other members of your family. We are very mindful too of your father, the late Alfie Doherty. Alfie was a stalwart Republican. He was someone that we in Cavan and Monaghan, along with your mother Margaret, we took them warmly to our hearts, and always have the fondest remembrances of the many, many occasions that they visited these counties as honorary citizens of Cavan and Monaghan always. That connection forged between these 2 border Ulster counties and your home and homes in Andersonstown in Belfast is as strong today as it was all those 36 years ago. It is a connection, it is a friendship that has been forged and that will last through the generations to come. Akarja, we have a duty to ensure that not only through commemoration and reenactment, and I think it's appropriate and fitting that I pay tribute to the members of the reenactment group from the 1st Battalion, Oglach, Belfast, as they would rightly describe themselves. We're delighted that you have made the journey to be here with us today, along with the cyclists, and I know that I'm joined by other elected colleagues here in Cavan and Monaghan. We have county councillors from both counties, and I'm pleased to note that among the cyclist number, there's certainly 1 that I've met, but there may be others among our elected Republican voices in Belfast here with us also today. This is a very important occasion to recommit ourselves to the struggle that Kieran and all of those on that roll of honour that was read at the outset of the event here today have given so much, given their all in service. We have a duty and a responsibility to build that same struggle that continues today, and to remember that through their sacrifice, through their inspiration, the 10 who died on hunger strike in 1981 and the others who participated during that year on hunger strike and in 1980, it is important that we remember what they stood for. It wasn't just about the 5 demands. It was, as Bobby Sands said, about the republic to which we have given our allegiance. Bobby said in his diaries, what's lost in here is lost for the republic. And the republic that Bobby spoke of, and the one that we stand for, was the one declared 100 years ago last year on the steps of the General Post Office in O'Connell Street in Dublin. The All-Ireland Republic that was represented by elected representatives through the first and second Dáil before the imposition of partition. As a Sinn Féin member in Leinster House for these past 20 years, I know that I could never have filled Kieran Doherty's shoes, but I know that I proudly walk in the shadow of a great, great man. And as the elected representative, TD, for the people of Cavan and Monaghan, I am proud to say that from my first 5 years there on my own, that today we have 30 elected representatives presenting to carry out that same work every week of the year. That first 5 years, I was very conscious from my opening address on the very first day I took my seat, very, very conscious of Kieran's being there and being a part of what steeled me to the task of being the sole voice over 5 years. My PA, Micheál McDonagh, is today, as we gather, the Lord Mayor of the City of Dublin. That is a mighty achievement, and I am proud to say that in this year, our party, Sinn Féin, hold the honorary first citizen roles in both counties, Cavan and Monaghan, something that we are very proud of in Councillor Paddy MacDonald and Councillor Cathy Bennett. The struggle continues, and we have a job to proceed and ensure that it succeeds, and at the earliest time possible. We are a growing force for change throughout the land, steeled by the men and women who have invested so much throughout the years in building to achieve the Republic. The work won't be finished when we have that success, because like anything else that's made of mankind, it will need to be nurtured and maintained and sustained throughout the lifetime of all who will proudly live beneath its rule. I look forward, hopefully, in my time to see its realisation, but I know that in this constituency of Cavan and Monaghan, that we can look forward with confidence to the Republican message being proudly represented and proclaimed, and that is due in no small measure to the great strength of men of the calibre of Bobby Sands, of Francis Hughes, and Kieran Doherty, most especially here in this constituency. I say to all the cyclists, well done on your initiative, well done on what you have achieved. This is the 12th year of the cycle. I know that Terence, in contacting me, said 2 for 2:30. Well, it would have been easier if he had asked me to speak at the start, because you'd know the time you'd be leaving. The problem always was, what time would they get here? And I have to say, with the weather conditions that we've been experiencing today, you've done exceptionally well. And maybe we would just give the cyclists a bula bus before we complete our event. I want to, just in conclusion, to say I'm delighted to be here. I'm delighted to stand here with fellow Republicans from Belfast, Cavan and Monaghan, with new friends and old friends that I'm happy to meet and greet here today. And I look forward to continuing to serve in this struggle as long as there is a breath remaining in me. To wish you all the very, very best again, and in the words that became a bypass for our message all those 36 years ago, it doesn't change, It hasn't gone away, you know. Chucky Arlo.